So our next is Sungho, who just passed his oral exam this morning. Let's give him a round of applause. Sorry. Good evening. I'm very pleased to present what I researched in the CTN Student Showcase, especially because, as I introduced by Professor Russell just before, I finally defend my dissertation today. This is exactly the 10th year I joined the GTU and I live in Berkeley. So if I arrived here, I had a decision in my mind, and I will study theology and science, and in particular focusing on interdisciplinary conversation between biological anthropology and theological anthropology. But I've studied about different areas of study, studies on human nature. I found there has been a tension between understanding human beings between science and theology. At first, look at this question. Is the human being is a machine unlike humans, like animals? This might represent how the human being has been considered by science, which has belonged to a mechanistic view of the world since modern times. I have discovered that many modern scientists, along with modern philosophers, regard nature as a machine, which can be reduced to an essential part and can be working automatically and can be causally determined. This mechanistic view of nature was originated from physics, but what this view was transferred to chemistry and biology took no long time. Modern scientists and philosophers consider animals as machines. For example, you might know that this guy's face in René Descartes. René Descartes was not only the father of modern philosophy, but also was a forerunner of the mechanics interpretation of a living organism. For Descartes, even if animals are complex beings, they are just machines because, unlike humans, they do not possess reason. As you know, so science does not exclude humans in biological fields. So modern mechanism understood humans as machine-like beings. And for example, Lametri, a French philosopher, explained that human being in terms of mechanical language and process. It says human body is a watch, a large watch, such and such. Even though contemporary physics has attempted to avoid the mechanistic or Newtonian view of nature along with developments of quantum physics, many contemporary biologists still seem to continue to have a mechanistic view of life. The champions of contemporary mechanistic field of science are social biology and evolutionary psychology. For well-known social biologists, Richard Dawkins, a living organism is gene machine. And they argue that natural selection should be understood in the view of the genes benefit neither individual nor groups. And social behavior of animals, including humans, like altruistic behaviors, could be determined by the survival of a gene. This is the reason why Dawkins coins selfish gene And in my dissertation, I criticize the social biology is trapped by the gene centrism. And as you see these funny cartoons, I think don't ask gene to save your life anymore. Also, evolutionary psychology has an extensive application of social biology to human psychology. Views that comparing with a computer, the human brain consists of mechanically determined models of specific behaviors. They argue that many of the human behaviors and cultural habits were evolutionarily fixed in the primitive times because they think the brain could not have enough time to evolve since the primeval times. But I think this might be a controversial argument, even in perspective of evolutionary biology. Anyway, these kinds of mechanistic view of animals and humans have challenged theological anthropology. There are many different responses to scientific challenges depending on theological or philosophical positions. But in this dissertation, I just focus on theologians who have deeply involved in conversation between theology and science. Scholars in science and theology commonly accept evolutionary history of nature and the evolutionary continuation from bacteria to humans. And theologically, they consider evolution a part of God's divine action and continued creation. This position is called theistic evolution. And however, they reject a mechanistic and reductionistic view of humans, while they put philosophical criticism against social biology and evolutionary psychology. They suggest alternative views of nature, such as emergence and self-organization, like that. And in particular, they emphasize the uniqueness of human beings compared with non-human animals. In my dissertation, I explore two different representatives who underscore the human uniqueness. The first one is Wenchel van Huisteen. He is a Princeton theologian. He strongly argued that humans are special and unique through bringing transdisciplinary researches such as paleoanthropology and evolutionary epistemology. Humans have outstanding abilities of cognition, symbolization, and religiosity, and comparing with non-human animals. Because of his emphasis on human unique capacities, he seems to belong to the camp of substantialist anthropology, I think. On the other hand, Wolfhard Pannenberg, as the second representative, attempts to show that human being is unique because humans are ontologically and phenomenologically relational. In other words, while his essential concept of exocentricity, human nature is depending on others or other humans, and ultimately on big capital R, that is God. Likewise, since modern times, many scientists who hold mechanistic views of nature have considered animals as well as human machine-like beings. For their anthropological challenges, theologians have attempted to save human values by underscoring the uniqueness of humans compared with non-human animals. At this moment, I could throw some questions to you. What if we study biological studies? Let us see even animals as non-machines. What if those scientific studies show that many animals have capacities that have been considered as properties only humans have for a long time? According to symbiotic biology, ethological studies of complex behaviors reviewed in my dissertation, we could find that kind of question in the above workable and reasonable. Look at this picture, and can you know what something white color is? The bottom of the
Bones.
bones. Yeah, right. This is that is a part of skulls and bones of dead elephant. Why do these elephants walk around at the elephant skull?
Warning.
Yeah, right. You might know the astrological studies. It is because they feel sad about losing one of family members and really want to mourn her in this behavior. Astrologists have reported that elephants disclose their deep emotional mourning when one of their family members is passed away. Not only elephants, many kinds of animals can feel pain, express various types of emotions, smiling, laughing, something like that. And some animals willingly help fellow animals wounded or disabled. In this picture, rhinoceros is saving a young zebra stuck in the mud and facing a danger of death by lifting her out of it. And recent astrologists present scientific observations to show that animals have their own languages, self-consciousness, and morality, and even cultures. The picture in the bottom is these monkeys. It's very interesting. Japanese astrologists discovered that some of the Japanese monkeys began to wash sweet potatoes for washing off sand on those kind of potatoes. And more surprisingly, they let other monkeys to know the skill and even transmitted it to future generations over several decades. And then Japanese scholars call this practice as a tidal culture. And from these researches, we can be sure that animal is no longer machine, as modern scientists and modern philosophers have thought about that. But the challenge is not limited here. If those research might be seriously reflected, one might conclude that even animals have subjective experiences and enjoy their own lives. Furthermore, symbiotic biology provides us more surprising discoveries. Unlike the classical or neo-Darwinism, symbiotic biology argued that not only maintenance of ecosystem, but also evolution itself are not possible without symbiosis. Before a biological fact, endosymbiosis holds, in which mitochondria as an essential part of a living organism cell, and chloroplast is also an essential part of a living organism and cell, and was originated from symbiosis of bacteria in the very long time ago. And we can be sure that even microorganisms should not be ignored in understanding human nature, and all living beings are deeply interconnected with each other beyond our imagination. So I call them science about the science with the relationalistic view, and thus a mechanistic view of animals and humans cannot stand before these scientific researches, and these studies could disclose anthropocentric prejudice that philosophical theological anthropology have implicitly or explicitly implied. In this context, I would like to argue that we need to have another kind of reconstruction of theological anthropology. From philosophical reflection of relationalist science, I could draw three relationalist principles: interdependence, interdistinction, and non-anthropocentrism. So, how can we reconstruct theological anthropology from this background? For this task, my dissertation pays attention to the doctrine of Trinity. It is much interesting that since 10th century, with revival of the Trinitarian doctrine, many theologians have commonly indicated there are two constitutive elements of the Trinitarian relationship: interdependence and interdistinction. And the three divine persons of the Trinity are deeply related and loving with each other, while each person is not reduced to other person, keeping others. Contemporary doctrine of the Trinity is also useful for applying Trinitarian principles to anthropology. According to Rano's rule, immanent Trinity is the economic Trinity. The Trinity has a deep relationship to the world. Recent doctrine of the incarnation is more helpful here. It is the deep incarnation pole. It's coined by Niels Gregerson, a Danish theologian. The deep incarnation suggests a deep incarnation pays attention to the original meaning of flesh and finds deeper meaning in these terms. Unlike conventional interpretation, flesh is not really just human beings, and it is rather material itself, and including evolutionary history. So the scope of incarnation could be extended to natural world, including evolution. In addition, animal theology recently emerged could give helpful implication on relationship among God, animals, and humans. Animal theology never views non-human animals as machines, and rather they are living creatures which are created by God with His love and affirmation. And the emphasis of creatureliness could contribute to overcoming anthropocentrism. And in animal theology, animals should be included in the scope of God's redemption. Let us remind the eschatological vision suggested by many prophets in the Bible. No one can imagine the kingdom of God without a sinning landscape and rich wooded valleys and beautiful flowers and animals. Many animals should be included in the kingdom of God future. And then there should be a running of fields. There are running of fields, and there are the birds flying in the sky, and every kinds of things. This kind of beautiful picture they have had, and then they provide that kind of picture to the biblical world, and then the Christian people, and so forth. Therefore, in my dissertation, I conclude that humans exist in radical relationship of God, humans, and non-human animals. Non-human animals are critical for becoming humans. And then, theologically speaking, God, as a Trinity, provides relational conditions to living organisms and their ecosystems as a Trinitarian grace. And in this relational and graceful matrix, human beings are born, becoming to more relational beings who are open to non-human animals, ultimately to God as the Trinity. Yeah, that's my question.